The Backrooms. You've been here before. Object number 95. Temporal Apotheosis. Time is omnipotent. It is a fixed, inevitable countdown to complete annihilation. Each tick represents a second closer to the end of something. Some finales accompany new beginnings, while others present a permanent conclusion. Such a powerful force remains uncontrolled, so one would be extremely unwise to underestimate it. Object number 95. Temporal Apotheosis. Location: Base Beta. Purpose: keeping time. Status: restricted. Image caption: Object 95 viewed from the front. Description: Object 95, though visually indistinguishable from an 1800s European pocket watch if observed from the front, inconspicuously hides a digital time display, referred to as Object 95.1, inside the battery compartment in the back. This peculiar feature was initially thought to be used to check the time, but this was disproven when researchers discovered that the display ticked down, not up. Supposedly possessing some inexplicable psychedelic aura, Object 95.1 is known to manifest a temporary feeling of intense dread, nihilism, and apocalypticism through visual hallucinations in those who gaze upon it. The duration and strength of the sensations increases as the display approaches 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. But the effects will quickly cease when wanderers avert their eyes. The front of the pocket watch functions exactly like a clock, creating a faint ticking noise with every second passed. However, it has been observed that in some locations, Object 95 physically experiences time dilation, ticking faster or slower than an average clock would when velocity or gravity are altered. This phenomenon is most prevalent on level 456, where the frequency of the ticking is seldom constant, ranging from occurring every half second to every 2 seconds as a result of the perpetual gravity shifts. Following this observation, researchers envisioned utilizing Object 95 to enhance their understanding of how gravity functions differently in the backrooms. But, unfortunately, Object 95.1's doomsday visions have rendered this proposal impractical due to them being common distractions. 3 days, 3 hours, 50 minutes, and 50 seconds. Image caption: Object 95.1's countdown to the end of times. Object 95.1's countdown is still poorly understood, though it has been speculated that the pocket watch possesses the power to alter the fabric of the universe, usually in a random manner, when a countdown finishes. Wanderers in close proximity to Object 95 when a countdown finishes will allegedly be implanted with false memories. These can range from minor inconsistencies, such as the Meg's logo appearance, to major discrepancies, such as the entries presented in the Backrooms database. Though the false memory is vastly stronger for those around Object 95, it has been reported that many wanderers throughout the Backrooms share the same false memory, though to a vaguer extent. As a result, researchers have hypothesized that the pocket watch is responsible for the presence of multiple examples of these incidents throughout the Backrooms, a phenomenon designated as the Mandela effect. Examples of the Mandela effect seemingly caused by Object 95. Date: December 2020. Incident report. According to some confused diner patrons, Tom's Diner was formerly in Level 0, but documentation shows that the diner was always located in Level 1. January 2021. The appearance of Level 14 allegedly changed. According to reports, it used to resemble an abandoned military hospital. Note: see the enigmatic/unnumbered level 14, the abandoned military hospital. July 2021. Reports of the existence of a certain Church of the Veiled started appearing, likely caused by remembering the Church of the Broken Truce incorrectly. Edit: apparently, no such Church of the Broken Truce exists or has ever existed. February 2022. The documentation of Entity 52 was, for a couple of days, owned by the Eternal Repository. Both the author of the page and the group deny this claim. May 2022. According to witnesses, there used to be a quote-unquote Crimson Forest, where level 9.1's impact crater is now. No evidence for the forest's existence has been found. Object 95.1 will never display 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. The end of one countdown always marks the beginning of another arbitrarily long countdown that ranges from several minutes to several weeks. Though current predictions feel unnecessarily alarmist and exaggerated, some researchers have suggested that this continuous cycle of false memory implementation might eventually affect everyone in the Backrooms to some extent, resulting in a complete loss of the original universe as time passes. Unfortunately, change remains inevitable, so the primary goal of the Meg is to slow down the corruption of memories as much as possible. Therefore, Object 95 is heavily secured in a remote area of Base Beta, and is presently inaccessible to the public. Discovery. Due to Object 95's unusual ability to implant false memories in people, multiple accounts that elaborate on how the Meg came into possession of it exist, though most of these statements contradict each other. Some chronicles detail scenarios where Object 95 was stolen from the gear maker. Footnote. This entity has apparently never existed, end footnote, while others allege that the watch was found in level 512. The most common accepted account of Object 95's discovery involves a wanderer, Ella Parker, creating a paradox with her supposed future self on level 87, resulting in the gear maker intervening and giving her the object. When the countdown finished, she was transported to level 906, with no memory of ever entering level 87, encountering Blanche, who seemed to differ in appearance from how Parker remembered her. The circumstances involving Parker's memory wipe and the lack of documentation mean that there is technically no proof that the scenario even occurred, giving truth to the theory that this quote-unquote official account is actually another false memory perpetuated by Object 95. Additional document. Access restricted. Security notice. The information presented in the following addendum is confidential, as knowledge of the content poses a massive risk to Wanderer's safety. This decision was not made lightly, but, after weeks of debate, the Meg administration has affirmed that this information cannot be revealed to the public, though it is possible for this restriction to be lifted in the future if the situation improves. Administration security override credentials are currently required to view the rest of this document. Thank you for your cooperation. Input override credentials. Credentials verified. Welcome, Administrator. 2. Overseer Cat. From Irene Grace. Subject. Object 89 Inconsistency. 08.31.2022. Sorry if this email seems unexpected, but I'd like to divert your attention to Object 89 on the database, which appears to be your corpse. Though this page has seemingly been on the database for approximately a year and a half, I never thought much of it until I saw you alive and well yesterday. What really confused me, though, is that the page suspiciously contains emails sent in the year 2026, which is impossible considering that the current year is 2022. Could you look into this? Signed, Irene Grace, Meg Archivist. 2. Irene Grace. From Overseer Cat. Subject. Reply to Object 89 Inconsistency. 09.02.2022. Thanks for notifying me. I could have sworn we never greenlit an Object 89, but upon checking our greenlight logs, it appears as though a page classified as Object 89 was greenlit in March 2021. However, I don't recognize the person who greenlit the page, nor do any of my colleagues. I'll do some more investigation before getting back to you. Signed, Cat. 2. Overseer Stretch. From Overseer Cat. Subject. Object 95 poses a greater risk than we first thought. 09.17.2022. Sorry to bother you with an email, but I fear that the Object 89 fiasco pertains to Object 95 in the form of a false memory. I've done a bit of research and talked with several colleagues, but nobody seems to know how the page even made it onto our database, nor was anyone aware of its existence until I notified them. However, this debacle appears to be only one part of a larger conspiracy. Many pages on our database contradict each other. Are we sure that Object 95 is actually implanting false memories, or is it changing reality itself while desperately trying to fix the destruction it leaves in its wake? For example, Level 98's page states that Level 103 is accessible from the diner's bathrooms. However, Level 103's page mentions no such entrance. Level 0 changed inexplicably one day, and its supposed previous form is even listed inside the current database page. It states that Base Alpha is situated there, but I don't remember us ever creating a base in Level 0, yet this previous iteration claims that we did. Object 97's page states that when we raided Backrooms Robotics, we blamed the raid on a prestigious group, supposedly named the Splinter, but no such group exists to my knowledge. Wanderers have been claiming that we don't age in the Backrooms, and I don't understand why. Our profile on Dr. Shields, note, C level 482, seems to imply this, suggesting that he hasn't aged in the 20-something years he's been on the run. His page even details a supposed Pine Shade massacre involving several penumbras, but I have no memory of this. I don't even know what penumbras are. They don't even have their own page. But you wrote the page, Stretch. I swear, Object 95 wasn't like this before. It was just a regular watch. When Ella gave me the watch as a gift and I turned it over to Base Beta, there was nothing significant about it. I didn't even think it would necessitate its own database page, considering how ordinary it looked. Now there's reports of some doomsday prophecy hijacking your brain when you look at it. But Ella and I did not experience that at all. Heck, the watch wasn't even making ticking noises, nor did it run on batteries. What's going on? Is my memory seriously this atrocious? It's all wrong, Stretch. Everything's wrong. I don't even know what to believe anymore. Signed, Cat. This can't continue happening right under our noses. Why does this page keep changing? The Backrooms. You've been here before. Object number 95, Temporal Apotheosis. 2. Overseer Cat. From Overseer Stretch. Subject. Reply to Object 95 poses a greater risk than we first thought. 09.21.2022. When I first read your email, I was thoroughly confused. I'm not sure what penumbras are either, and I share the same sentiment about Object 95 as you do. Like any normal human being would in this situation, I checked both pages myself, and they certainly look different from how I remember. To my dismay, I couldn't glean anything from checking the edit history either. Of course, I researched explanations for the Mandela effect, as I genuinely did not remember Object 95 being deemed one of them. The most scientific explanation is that we're all just remembering wrong, but I don't believe that, so I guess the only logical explanation is that we're traveling through parallel universes. Sounds like a stretch, I know. It's all I have, though. Many pages already imply the existence of alternate timelines, so it can't be that far off. Hope you're satisfied at least, even if it wasn't the answer we were looking for. Signed, Stretch. Meg Terminal. Welcome, Overseer B. Please enter your password. Password entered. Please enter your search query. /query Object 95. 2 files relating to the term Object 95 were found. Would you like to retrieve them? Yes or no? Yes. Files retrieved. Object-95-parallel-documentation-2021.il. Object number 95. The Doomsday Clock. Location. Everywhere. Purpose. Annihilation. Status. Obtainable. Image caption. Object 95 viewed from the front. Description. Despite its deceptive appearance, Object 95 is not an ordinary pocket watch. It hides a countdown referred to as Object 95.1 inside the battery compartment in the back. Though Object 95 was deemed harmless when Overseer B first obtained it, this notion was disproven shortly after its arrival in Base Beta, where Object 95's 2-month countdown was discovered. Possessing some inexplicable psychedelic aura, Object 95.1 is known to manifest a permanent feeling of intense dread, nihilism, and apocalypticism through visual hallucinations in those who gaze upon it. Though this effect only occurs once the lid covering the supposed quote-unquote battery compartment is removed, an action that cannot be undone. Once the battery compartment of the watch is revealed, the countdown, and by extension, its psychoactive effect, begins. The strength of the sensations increases as the display approaches 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds, and no known remedy exists. Those affected by Object 95.1 are known to repeatedly preach about the quote-unquote end of times, which would supposedly occur once the countdown ends. After several hours, the dread subsides, and wanderers become unbothered by impending doom. Instead, they welcome it, with unnatural smiles on their faces, claiming that complete destruction will accompany rebirth in some alternate universe. Filled with delight, they attempt to persuade individuals to join them in eagerly anticipating a quote-unquote convergence of timelines. Their claims currently cannot be verified, so wanderers should remain skeptical, avoiding anyone who has fallen victim to the effect. Despite the Meg's best efforts, many wanderers, desperate for answers, have been corrupted by Object 95.1's aura and its followers. Previously, only one instance of Object 95 existed, a dysfunctional watch gifted to Overseer B by Wanderer Ella Parker in late 2018. However, shortly after the disaster that came with the discovery of Object 95.1, multiple instances of the pocket watch began appearing throughout the Backrooms without explanation, with the reports of how these were obtained varying greatly. Several wanderers claim to have procured an instance of Object 95 through various means, finding it in a crate, stealing it from an old man, or asking Entity 103 for it. Each subsequent instance displays the same countdown and produces the same mind-altering effects as the first instance. The reason for the influx of objects is unknown, although it has been theorized that when the first wanderer was exposed to Object 95.1, it resulted in the beginning of a cataclysmic rapture in the current timeline. The hypothetical rapture. According to victims of Object 95.1, the end of the countdown will mark the end of this universe as it becomes consumed by another. This event is expected to happen consecutively in multiple different universes, resulting in several timelines merging together into one main timeline, with a short break in between convergences. While hardly any of the physical properties will be spared, the remaining timeline's wanderers may adapt some memories associated with this consumed universe's wanderers, such as the existence of sub-angels, penumbras, and a coveted black and yellow Nissan Juke in level 270. Even though these may not exist in the universe, memories of them will likely persist after the rapture, possibly resulting in database inconsistencies with the new timeline. The new timeline is believed to also possess an instance of Object 95, though unlike this universe, the countdown will always reset, with the end of each countdown signaling that a timeline has converged with it. Regardless of what does or does not happen when this universe's countdown expires, it is important that some memories will always live on, even when the subjects of them inevitably cease to exist. When we all perish, time will be reunited. When the clock stops, space will be reborn. When timelines converge, we will remember. Object 95 secret engraving.txt. A clock stopped, not the Mantels, Geneva's farthest skill. Can't put the puppet bowing, that now just dangled still. An awe came on the trinket, the figures hunched with pain, then quivered out of decimals into degreeless noon. It will not stir for doctors, this pendulum of snow. The shopman importunes it, while cool, concernless know. Nods from the gilded pointers, Nods from the seconds slim. Decades of arrogance between the dial life and him. Note, see Entity 151, the gear maker.